want to be here today for my presentation. So during my placement here, I did a small research project about farming knowledge and what is the social role and the collective learning impact on farming knowledge, especially in alternative agriculture. By alternative, I understand different than conventional, so mainly organic, permaculture, agroecology, things like this. And as a case study, I decided to use the WWOOFing, which is volunteering farm, in organic farm, so to see how the WWOOFing provides knowledge to the woofer, but also to the host. So the introduction is about the learning process and information about knowledge. I'm sure the majority of you will know about it. But knowledge, according to the literature review, can be divided in two kinds of knowledge. So formal knowledge, which is also named explicit or codified knowledge, and which is more about scientific, academic research. The opposite is the informal knowledge, also called implicit or tacit knowledge, which is much more based on peer-to-peer on experimentation and exchange with other people. So this table from the research made by Sutherland and Hall details difference between the two, and the one I'm more interested in today is the transmission and access, and see the difference between the two. And what I will explain in WWOOFing is much more the informal part, which is important based on the own experience. In parallel, other researchers have found 4 formal knowledge, which are quite similar actually. The 2 first ones are much more formal knowledge in the fact they're based on the know-whats, to have the information, what is it, and the know-why, which is based on scientific principle. And the 2 other are a bit closer than the informal knowledge, because they're more based on the social aspect and then how to do things, and knowing who can do this thing and who has the knowledge about this topic. So this is very quickly something about knowledge, and let's see how it impacts the agriculture and how historically the knowledge changed. So the same, I'm sure you are aware about this, but in the last century, the agriculture was mainly small farm, a lot of farmers, a lot of active population part of farming. So in France, in the end of the 19th century, 40% of the population were farmers and working on the farm. This is what it looked like during the harvesting period. And then the Green Revolution from the post-war period developed the agriculture based on making a new economy, feed the population, increase the activity of the country. So the case in France, but as well in the UK, a lot of governmental support for the production, for increasing the yield. Private companies developed their work as well using the agrochemical industry and using chemical in agriculture. A lot of progress and research have made in genetics, mechanization, to lead to something more mechanics and industrial. It's the same region in France, probably not the same field, but 1 century later. And if you compare quickly the numbers, from farming population dropped to 3.5%, whereas it was 40% in the end of the 19th century. But this growth in agriculture, this green revolution, has been accompanied by also like the emergence of alternative way of farming, people who wanted to do things differently. So it started in the 50s, 70s, the beginning of the organic movement, the permaculture, but it's more and more important since 2000 years later. It becomes something more important about the producer and the consumer based on alternative system, local market, and diversification. Even if currently the conventional farming remains the main system in France and in the UK and in Europe mainly. So the same chronology for the knowledge. So from local knowledge based on observation and very low scientific result, when it was very from the farm, so local knowledge from the farm transmitting from parents to children and between neighbors. Then during the Green Revolution, the standardized knowledge, so the formal knowledge arrived with like the private company, with a lot of support to research, public and private, and a more top-down transmission of the knowledge. So from the researcher, from the input supplier, saying to the farmer how to use the chemicals, and less knowledge from the farmer to other. And this is from the research made by Morgan Murdoch, and their study specifically the impact of chemicals on farming. So whereas the tacit knowledge, which was being established from the farm, gave way to the standardized codified knowledge accompanying chemical spray, according to them. With this new alternative way of producing food, the farmers seek for more autonomy and to be more resilient and less dependent on the market, from the supplier and the external people around the farm. So there are a new way of learning together, an horizontal learning based on network, meeting people with the same value. And WWOOFing is one of these kind of network. So WWOOFing means worldwide opportunities in organic farm, but when it was created in the 70s, the same acronym meant Willing Weekend on Organic Farm. It has been changed later when the movement spread. The movement appeared in England, actually, when people from London working in the city wanted to go back to the farm they knew when they were children, to go back to farming on the weekend. So they made arrangements with farmers to go to the farm and help it and have an accommodation of food for free. And that was the beginning of WWOOFing. And the system spread everywhere in the world based on very non-monetary system. So people, woofers, go to the farm, they are volunteers, they go there they want to go there. In exchange, they get food and an accommodation. And they work maybe 5-6 hours per day and are really involved in the farm, so they're usually part of the family. And the aim of WWOOFing organization is to share the organic value. And so my study was to see how WWOOFing impact really the sharing of organic value and mainly the sharing of alternative farming knowledge. So for that, I made a survey, an online survey. I wanted to share with everyone in the world, which was not easy, obviously. The survey was quite short, and so it was only one survey for us and woofers, but the path differed, so that there are different questions. Only the last question was the same, which was what is for you the best thing about WWOOFing. It was for both host and woofer, but the rest have been separated paths so that I can analyze the two different host and woofers. And so the survey was open for 1 month. I shared it through my university, which can impact the result in terms of there are a lot of French people between 20 and 24 who replied and who have got economic background. And then they've been shared on Twitter, Facebook, and thank you Nick and the other who shared my survey online. And then some woofer organization repost, retweet, some not. So, for example, Woof Australia and Woof UK have been very active. That's why I can have more answer from them, while some other country not really. As you can see on the map, my first map made on ArcGIS, quite proud of it. So the map represents where do the respondents come from. So the color are not very important actually, just to see that the darker is it, the most respondents there are. The woofer, I got 149 respondents, which was quite interesting, but the host only 22. So the results cannot be really generalized because they're not a lot and they're not spread everywhere. You can see that Asian, South American, even Africa are not really well represented. And it's the same for the farm location. It's mainly UK, Australia, France, Europe mainly, and North countries. But still, we can do the result what the host think. So for the respondent, the host, they think that woofers can bring new knowledge and change the farming practice. So for 90%, it might have an impact on the farming knowledge. So it's actually 63% say yes, definitely woofers bring something new to my farm. For 27 maybe. And it can be as a quote on the survey say, it was things like new permaculture method, or how to build a polytunnel, or new way of recycling project, recycling food, things like this. And also there are cooking knowledge, which are really appreciated by the host, because they host people from different countries and they're very interested by that as well. But even if the farming knowledge seems to be important for the host as well, it's not the main reason to host. I mean that, yes, when I host woofer, it might change my practice and bring me new things, but it's not the reason why I host. When you can see on this bar chart, so it's the result from ranking question. So people have to rank what is the most important, the second most important, from 1 to 5. And really, the most important reason to host woofer is to help with the workload. So, and by this, and also transmitting the values, these are the two main reasons. And then new knowledge, bringing new knowledge is not the reason why hosts want woofer to come, but it's something which happened anyway, so much like consequences of hosting. And the transmitting value is interesting because hosts want to transmit the values, and we can see that it works for woofer. I mean, they learn new things, and when we look for the reason from the woofer, we can see that woofing increases the awareness in organic farming, in food production, and in environment. So, especially for people who didn't have any farming knowledge before doing woofing, because there are some, these people, they learn a lot, and they really change their consumer habit. You can read this quote. The respondents say that it was very the woofing who shift the personal life, and it impact his or her way of seeing the world in terms of environment and nature. And other quotes suggest that doing woofing helps you to know what food is in the season and the work which is required to produce food, which like people tend to forget when they're not really related with farming. And people who had a lot of farming knowledge before, their awareness is less increased, but as someone commented in my surveys to say that it didn't really change my habit because I had already strong value, but it just comforted me in what I thought. So more or less the same question I asked to the woofer. Why do you do woofing and what are the main reasons? And woofing is not it's not really traveling than other way of traveling. It's not like backpacking trip or thing like this. It's something different because it's improving a foreign language of traveling with locals are not the main reason. And also 25% of the respondents of the woofer did woofing only in their own country. So they didn't travel far away. And they speak obviously the same language. And for those, woofing is still a way of traveling. They said in the surveys that with woofing, traveling makes sense again, it's a quote, or with woofing they can experience the real culture of the country you visit. So it's really to have a new experience and to discover something different that you cannot access with usual travel. And improving farming knowledge seems to be the most important, but I just remember you that I sent it to my students from Agro-Paris where we learn agronomy. So I think it also changed a bit the result that we are, in my school, we are most likely to do woofing to learn organic and farming knowledge. But still, for learning reconnect with nature is also quite important. And the comments say that people want to go back to the field and spend less time in front of their computer. So that's why they can do woofing. It's a different experience, reconnecting with nature and learning farming practice. And the impact on the woofer, so they learn things, but not necessarily technical things. And they think the experience will be useful in their daily life anyway, which is quite clear for people who will work in agriculture. But even if people won't work in agricultural field, they still learn things, which I think is quite interesting also, because it can be things like gardening techniques for people who want to do their own gardening, or having a work experience, but also knowledge in environment and food, as we see, more awareness. And people also learn about themselves and about social impact, so working with other people you don't know based on your interest. And people say that woofing they have to get out their zone of comfort. Some others suggest that with woofing, it improved their practical thinking, how to resolve problems, to manage stress. Because on the farm, things can be very unpredictable, and you have to deal with a head of a cause who escape, and you have to do something because you're not necessarily the farm manager at this moment. Things like this. So people also develop their personal knowledge, and they increase the personal development as well as the technical knowledge. And this is one of my woofing examples. When I learned how to pluck goose and turkey, which is probably something I won't do again in my life, except if I got where I want. But I learned a lot also about myself, about being able to pluck an animal I just seen be killed a few minutes before, and also to relate it with how we process food. Yeah, it was a very good experience, I think. And in the last question, I asked everyone what is the best thing for you about woofing. And clearly, with this image, you can see that the main aspect is social. People, meeting people, and also something new, something different, but an experience you cannot have. But still, farming experience, learning, they should be together, share everything are the main thing people say. And it's in woofing is really something which is based on an exchange and social aspect. keep, and some other farmers say it's helped them to keep feeling young and to keep belonging to something. And the non-monetary aspect is very important as well, because it's based on trust and sharing, mainly. So this is a few nice quotes. This one is really about trust. I like this one, which is quite cynical, you know. Wolf is the antidote to the way society has become, sadly individualistic, greedy, afraid of stranger, disconnected force. It's quite strong. I found this one quite funny. And this one is also about trust between people with different backgrounds. The other one is from a host, and emphasize the fact that roofing is also a way to build a international network, but also intergenerational, and to bring young people back to the farm. Because the average age on a farm is more than 50, around 59 I think, in the UK, the same in France. And how to bring new people back to the farm by sharing with them the value of farming. And again, the passion of the host. So it's something very, the patient, new skills, the experience, what people really like about WWOOFing. So to conclude about the survey, WWOOFing really benefits both host and farm, both host and woofers. So it's something, a double exchange, in two ways exchange. The social aspect is really the main component. So people want the social thing, the trust, the thing to be together, to work together. And finally, the learning process and the new knowledge provision and transmission is more something implicit, which happens even if it was not necessarily what people were looking for, but it will happen anyway. And people will learn even more. As McCarthy suggests, the learning diffusion will be better in an environment where trust and equal negotiation are the key component. And it really seems like WWOOFing is this kind of space based on trust and exchange. And many other initiatives based on fostering the social relation group have been built recently to develop the communication between people, the horizontal communication to share things, share ideas, to increase knowledge. And to conclude more widely about farming knowledge, I think this quote is quite interesting because, as we've seen earlier, the Green Revolution brought a lot of new techniques and knowledge. And it doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, it's a science, it's a new discovery, it's still good. And as Stefan Parmentier, who is a policy advisor on food and agriculture in Oxfam Charity, say, relying first and foremost on traditional knowledge does not mean excluding modern science. In fact, agroecology combines scientific inquiry with indigenous knowledge, as well as farmers' innovation and community-based innovation for shaping sustainable farming system. Which means that if we want to change the farming to make a better planet, we have to bring everything together, like the science, the formal and informal knowledge. There is not one good and one bad, but just a mix of everything. So this is the presentation, my reference, and now it's time for you to ask questions and to comment as well, because this presentation is also some training for me, so feel free to comment.
Okay, thanks very much, Eloise. Yeah, really interesting presentation, and well done for putting together a nice little study in your own time. Really well done. Throw the floor up to questions. I've got one first. It seems like there's so many good reasons to do WWOOFing. I just wonder whether the organisation has seen an increase in interest. Is participation going up?
Actually, WWOOF UK not really. I read the newsletter a few months ago, and the number of members, because you have to be members to be part of it. So you pay £20 per year as woofer, and then you get access to the whole farm address. And so the number of members decreased. So maybe a reason of Brexit, they're not really sure. But in the last year it decreased, and so they're trying to promote woofing again. So Woof UK do a lot of leaflets, but for English people or British people to go woofing in the UK, they try to develop the local woofing as well. So, yeah. But in the world it increased in the last 10 years, yeah.
Okay. Any question, Damien?
I just wondered about the sort of, like, if you like, the more, like, were there any people expressed a sense that they were just doing it because they wanted to go away and have a nice time, and you know what I mean? So it was kind of a way of, in a sense, a form of sort of almost tourism, or sort of, so they weren't doing it maybe for the sort of slightly more, you know, worthy sort of, I wanted to learn about agriculture, I wanted to, you know, have a transformative, you know, do you know what I mean? Whether you just found people who were just doing it because it was a way of having a nice, you know, experience as part of a backpacking holiday, or a, did you find any of that sort of?
I read some documents, some publication about woofing and tourism.
Yeah.
The most controversial thing about woofing are based on tourism, actually.
Yeah.
And it seems that the motivations are not exactly the same, but can be close to the backpacker thing, like escape from the system and to the monetary system, and to go back to something different where you disconnect from the world. So it seems to be a bit like this, but less than tourism, as I read, and as also I discovered in my survey and by chatting with other woofer I met. So it's piece of that, but not only traveling.
Yeah.
But I think it's also reconnecting with nature.
Yeah.
I've got loads of questions actually, but I'll maybe ask you them over lunch, because it kind of ties in with stuff that I've been doing in places like Manchester, and looking more at community garden centres and community growing, but actually a lot of the similar kind of ideas. But I just wanted to ask you about your survey, because you had, what was it, 171 responses, 22 were hosts, and the rest were woofers. But you had loads of visits.
I forgot to mention that.
I was just like, you know, what can we learn from that in terms of using social media and online surveys generally? Like, is there a way that you could have captured?
I got one explanation, which probably not the only one, for this high number of visits. Is why my survey was only in English, and the first page was a text about me, my background, and why I'm doing this survey. So quite a long text only in English. And I think the non-English speakers, I just saw this text in English and just stopped at it. And with insight, I think I should have write also a sentence in French saying you can do this survey even if you don't have a lot of English knowledge, and use Google Translate, because then the questions were quite easy to reply. But I think because this big text in English at the beginning, some non-English speakers stopped, and probably also people thought it was not relevant, or go with curiosity on the first page, but they never done anything before. I don't really know, but I think the barrier language impacted the spread and the result on the survey.
Okay, thanks.
Dan, did you pick it up?
I did, yeah. Was it my turn? All right, I'll be quick then. So I wanted to say thanks. It was really interesting to hear about it, and very impressive as well. I really like the way that you started off with that whole thing about the horizontal networks, and then led into woofing as well. So I've got two questions that are related to the idea of woofing. One is that it strikes me that some of the social aspects that people were talking about, some of the social benefits and attractions to woofing, are linked to the idea of labour being a social activity. And this maybe contrasts with some directions in agriculture to reduce labour requirements. So, we can think about Brexit, we can think about robotic milking and robotic fruit picking. So technical and political issues are flying around, and satellite technology, all these things are about reducing labour. So I wondered, my first question is, do you think there's anything about organic agriculture that is more social from a labour perspective per se, or is it just that the hosts are social people and want to have that kind of contact? The second question is about the idea of residential experiences. You were saying people live on the farms and they eat with the farmers. So do you think that more generally, the idea that having a residential experience is more conducive to tacit knowledge exchange?
For the first question, to really my point of view, I mean, a lot of research could be around is organic farming it's more social? From my point of view, I think so, because it needs more handwork than you need to do more things like that said by weeding, for example. And also, I don't put the chart here, but some hosts were small holdings, so they don't have a big field, big area, so much more work is done by hand, and for that they need more people to work with. And to share the value of organic farming, I think as well that organic farming is a way of thinking, is a philosophy that people want to share. So probably it needs more social aspect. And the second question about the residential thing, I think it plays a huge role in tacit knowledge, because you discuss much more during the lunch or when you have a cup of tea. You keep talking about the thing you have to do, what you discover, you ask more questions than when you do only working on a farm from 9 to 5, you work, then you don't have enough time to ask questions because you have things to do. Whereas when you're just in this kind of, it's a real sharing, you know, that because you're volunteer, you don't have to hurry or anything. You just share things with people. And so that I think you learn much more.
Yes, certainly based on my experience of looking at the adverts on the WWOOFing website, most of the farms, in relation to Dan's first question, were really small farms. There's just one or two people who desperately needed somebody to dig a pond or knock a fence in or something like that, which really needed the labour.
Yeah. But normally, if the farmers have woofer, they need woofer every day in the year, and they can do their business without woofer, then it means that they should hire someone instead of doing it. Woofing should be something volunteer, and like it doesn't have to replace the work. And that, in some countries that can be quite difficult. I read something 2 weeks ago in the French newspaper about 2 French woofers who've been to the US to do woofing, and at the airport, at the visa, they have been separated. And the authority asked them question, why are you coming there? They had a tourism visa. And they say, we're going to do volunteer work on the farm, because they volunteer visa, but say 2 months in the same place. And so the authority was surprised. And they say, yeah, we're going to do volunteer work on the farm. But in the US, when you do volunteer work, it's like work, so you need a work visa. So it's not woofing. I think the negative aspect is not very well defined by the law. It can be seen as free labor. So we're not very, as a woofer, we're not necessarily well protected, I think.
Yeah, it's actually sort of linked to all that, but is your impression of the hosts, are they small farms who are not a business, they're just sustenance farms, or are they a business? And do you think woofing farms, are they productive, are they efficient farm systems?
I think it really depends on the farm. The turkey farm I've been, they really make a living with the turkey.
Okay.
They say like 250 turkey at Christmas period,
Yeah.
and they got also beef, cattle, sheep. So it's really like farming with that business.
Okay.
The one I've been in Stroll as well. But you can also have small holding when you work only with people that only got like garden or small animals for themselves.
Yeah.
So these are not business. They are very different kind of farm, I think.
In terms of knowledge transfer, which of those models is most interesting from a knowledge transfer point of view? Would you prefer to go to a farm where they're a business, or would you like to? I don't know.
My experience are much more based on business than small farm. So I don't really know how the transfer of knowledge comes from a small farm, but I also think that people who got their own permaculture garden, things like this, they got also strong values I want to share, but maybe less farming technical knowledge. So I think it's a bit different, but I don't have enough experience to share. And I didn't really ask in my survey because the woofer didn't say in which kind of farm they've been.
Okay.
So it should be more research about it.
It's interesting to know what your main motivation for woofing was.
My motivation?
Yeah.
The first one I did was when I was preparing the entrance exam to go to an agronomic school. So really to have experience in farming, to see really what it was. And to go abroad also because I was studying so much for this exam, I really wanted a break. So, and I found this Turkey farm because I could go only in December and there was not a lot of farm was to go for in December. But my first one I did with a friend, so we've been together. Just for the getting out the comfort zone was a bit easier to be with a friend. But yeah, it's really, I think to discover something new and for me because I got a really farming background, I wanted to learn more.
Anyone else? I've just got one more. You've worked on a couple of farms in the UK now and in France. Has anything struck you as, in terms of the way things are done, are there any significant differences that you've noticed, or is it pretty much the same experience?
I think because in both countries I've been to organic farm, they're quite similar. They're quite small and animal welfare and things like this. So what I've learned this year, I'm sure there are a lot of difference between farming in England and in France, and the motivation and the way it's done. But what I saw myself were quite similar, because I think because of organic.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I can see the advantage for woofers, but I wonder the issue for hosts. I wonder if they're people who have been woofers in the past, or if they've gone to like a kibbutz, which used to be the only thing in the sort of 90s over in Israel, and is this a sort of antidote to the formalisation of agriculture? Because I think lots of people would have sort of cruised around and then to Australia or helped out with sheep farms, etc. But that seems to be increasingly a formal avenue. So whether this is sort of popular because it's still that informal, relaxed. But I just, from a host point of view, if you were running a farm, then having an in-out occasional people visiting and having to train them up, it seems quite, sit in the sort of narrow businessy part, we would sit there and think, oh, crikey, this is a bit of a hassle. So what do you think the hosts get out of it? Or is this dialogue with the outer world and sort of a bit of free labour?
In my survey, I asked, have you been woofer in the past? On the 22 respondents, only 5 been woofer in the past. Or only, or actually it's almost one quarter because on the 22 respondents. But so these people say then they become host. Some of them say I become host after doing woofing because I wanted to give back what people gave me back to keep helping people. And I think it can be annoying. So but hosts put their own rules. So hosts can say we don't want woofers for period shorter than 1 month if they want long period. Some of them say we don't want woofers on the weekend. So I think hosts are very free to put their rules on the woofer. Come on, some hosts say we only have lunch together and you will have the dinner in a small kitchen in your private area. You don't have necessarily to live in the family in one of the bedrooms in the house. Some hosts just offer you the bathroom and you have a campsite in the garden. So it really depends as well. But for the farm I've been, sometimes it's like the new woofer is coming next week and I haven't planned anything. So it can be like, they say they want a woofer to help with the workload, but I think in the beginning it's much work to host someone, that you have to show the people everything, and at the beginning the woofer cannot do anything by himself or herself. But that's why I think it's more like sharing values, so it's important. It's a way of life.
Did you not have a response from the host that one of the reasons or one of the benefits they got out of it was that they gave them a feeling of travelling?
This one was the lowest, actually. The least important, actually.
Yeah.
The most important was really help with the work, transmitting value. But as with these three in the middle, then the results are quite similar. I think people are really sure from what they think the most important is, what is the least important. But these three in the middle can change because we get really low standard and the data are very close, you can see. So the reason can change. And I asked Anna the question to those proofers, and it was mainly this, actually. Some of you want to do WWOOFing now?
Yeah.
Sounds great. I think it's lunchtime. I
prepared food for everyone, maybe not enough, but I did like quiche cake, so we can share in the garden, and if you need more then go to the canteen, but I try to prepare food to share with everyone.
Thank you.
So we can go to the garden.
Okay, well, thanks once more for a really interesting presentation and discussion. Thanks a lot.